This is the Business of Leadership Series Minute with your host, the best-selling author of Don't Buy a Duck and founder of MarketingStrategyHero.com, Derek Champagne.
Excited about our guest today. He is one of the best bowlers, if not the best in the entire world. In fact, I'm going to start it out controversial. Some are saying he is the GOAT. Jason Belmonte, he has 22 PBA titles, 11 major championships, 4 of those in USBC Masters, which is also a record, and 4-time PBA Player of the Year. Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Derek, thank you very much for having me on your show.
Hey, we talked not too long ago. You were telling me about some awesome stunts you're doing. We won't start there, but I can't wait to talk about some of those. My son and I play your bowling app on my iPhone. You've got a really cool story, and I'd love to just start at the beginning because yours really does start at the beginning. And let's let our listeners get to know you, and then we'll have some fun and talk about some new highlights.
Yeah, sure. Well, I live and was born in a little town in Australia called Orange, which is about 4 and a bit hours inland of Sydney. One rainy Sunday afternoon, my parents had some family over. This was prior to me being born. Had some family over, and the question came up, hey, why don't we go bowling? And at the time, there wasn't a bowling centre in Orange. And the very next day, my parents, who had never rolled a ball in their lives, knew nothing about the sport of bowling, decided, let's build a bowling centre. So
had they owned the companies before that?
No. So my father was pretty good with his hands. He was a bit of an electronic whiz. So he was a manager of like a little electronics store, and my mother actually grew up on the farms. So she was an orchardist. Her family were in the apple game. So she grew up in apples. My dad grew up in electrics, and neither of them knew anything about bowling. So, as you do, you just go and build a bowling centre. And a couple of weeks after I was born, the Orange 10-pin bowl was built. And that's pretty much where I spent and still spend the majority of my time. It's actually one of the reasons why I bowl the way that I do. So for the listeners that aren't aware of my unique style, because I started bowling by myself at 18 months old, the bowling ball was too heavy for me. So I would use 2 hands to roll the ball. And as I was getting older, I still couldn't use a traditional style. So the ages of 2, 3, 4, it was still too heavy. So I just kept bowling with 2 hands. Now, my parents, not bowlers, not coaches, didn't try to change me. As far as they were concerned, I was this little boy who was bowling on lane 16 out of their hair while they were busy at work, and I was happy. So they were happy. It turns out I was actually getting very good bowling this way.
Derek Champagne here. So many exciting things happening in 2019. Join us. Visit DerekChampagne.com.